Thank you so much for coming back to Sarita Talks. And it is my immense pleasure in life to be able to spotlight those who are gone, but not forgotten. Uh, I really want people to perk up about how finances and the size of your bank account really depends or really determines what your future will be in the criminal justice system. It's basically if you have money, you can make sure that you get the good attorney. You can make sure that you get the right venue. Someone is actually fighting for you because they've been paid. When you have a public defender, they're going to get their salary regardless. They're going to get whatever the state is paying them, regardless of whether or not you win or lose. And a paid attorney, because that's what we call them, they they know that they want to earn that money and they want to earn that reputation as, hey, I can win, because it's criminal, it's a so if you know that someone's a good criminal attorney, then that's who you want, and you've got the money to pay for it. If not, you end up in a situation like our friend. Once more, I'm holding up the phone. This is how we talk to our family and friends in prison. Rashod L. James. And Rashod is one of the people that I love to give a spotlight because that we're warehouse, we're throwaway people. And that is not the case. As you know, I served a lot of time and I'm not a throwaway person. All the good things that I'm doing now, Rashod could do, Brenda Williams could do, Teresa Cummings could do, Rosemary Jackson could do, Paige Spears. So Rashod has a very captivating story that needs to be heard. So Rashod, if you'll introduce yourself, tell us how old you are now, and tell us a little bit about what happened for you to be arrested and go to trial, or excuse me, not go to trial, be forced into a plea. Rashod L. James, thanks for coming on.
How you doing? My name is Rashod James. I'm a 32-year-old male from Kansas City, Missouri. I was falsely accused of a murder, a home invasion in 2010. I've been in prison since I was 19 years old. And basically, the only thing I really did was I bought a stolen car from a friend, and it ended up to be the victim car. And here it is, I'm sitting in prison for 40 years for something I did not do and know nothing about after the fact nor during the fact. So, I mean, I'm just here, like I said, like she told you, I was railroaded by the public defender's office. I had 2 or 3 different public defenders that would not work for me and basically forced me to plead guilty just to avoid a death penalty. And here it is, 10, 14 years later, the truth is finally coming out. And I told these people year after year as I was sitting in the county that, I'm innocent and this is what's going on. And they did not want to listen. They still forced me to plead guilty knowing I was innocent.
This is not, it's sad to say, but this isn't the exception. This is the rule. This is the rule. And another thing they don't want you to do is go to trial, because trials cost money. They want you to take a plea. Your attorney, as well as the district attorney, or the prosecutor. So the prosecutor and the defense, they come up with these pleas, and it's a joint effort, which is a little suspicious in itself, that my lawyer is negotiating with the prosecutor, and then the negotiations turn into a place where I feel as though I don't have any recourse but to take a plea. I'm raising my hand. That happened to me too. It'll be in the book, but let me tell you this. So you felt like, because that's what they told you. I was told I would have got a life in prison. I would have got life in prison.
This call is from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
And you were told you would have gotten the death penalty, which is capital punishment, if you didn't take that plea.
They told me, the prosecutor told my attorney that if I went to trial, he was going to seek the death penalty and try me for capital punishment, first degree murder, like you said.
Mm-hmm. And how traumatic is that? So basically, what they're telling basically what they're telling you is either you do what we tell you or you're gonna die. Now, pick that up. So you get sentenced to this 40 years, but while you were incarcerated, you got a letter from somebody. Is that correct? A postcard?
In I received a postcard in 2014 from an unidentified individual, and from my understanding of the situation, I think it was a female that was present during the time that I bought the car from that individual.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2023, my attorney sees a 4-page confession from an individual who has been convicted of these crimes in 2000 and 2013. And he wrote a 4-page confession telling them exactly what happened, who did what, when and where, and all of that. And it's been almost a year. And guess what? I have heard nothing from my attorney about this letter. I have heard nothing from the prosecutor's office, the conviction integrity unit, whatsoever. I'm just sitting here. Like I said, they had proof back then. They got proof now. And I'm still sitting here lost.
Okay. Now, a lot of people probably didn't understand. Go back to the postcard. The postcard that came in 2014, what did it say?
A postcard came to me in the county jail in 2014. It did not have a return address on it. The lady basically said she did not want to get involved because she feared for her safety. And then on top of that, she told me a name that the police knew very well. And she told me that she know I didn't do it, and she don't understand why I'm pleading guilty to something that I did not do, and that I should basically make the person who did it pay for it.
So she provided the name of the actual person that is guilty of this crime, correct?
She provided the name of the second person that was basically like a conspirator.
Implicated.
It was a guy by the name of Justin.
Okay.
His name was Justin. I still have that postcard to this day, and it's postmarked and all that.
And what is sad is, why was that never entered into any type of legal documentation for you? No one had the presence of mind.
The prosecutor and my attorney told me I made this up. This man told me I made somebody write the letter, and we got into a big argument in the visiting room. I told this man, I said, don't you think if I would make somebody write it, I would at least put a name on it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Therefore, you know what I'm saying? You would know who it is, and we can try to interview them. Why would I send a postcard with no return address, no name on it, trying to help myself? It makes no sense whatsoever.
And this is your own attorney who doesn't want to pursue any other avenue for justice except for to lock you away and throw the key. As you're hearing this is his attorney. I have evidence that has come to me, and I want to submit it. And now you're in a full-on argument with the man that is supposed to be defending you. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. So then, yes, sir.
The man, like I said, the man even told me I was guilty. This is what my own attorney told me.
Wow.
This is your best bet. This is your best bet at seeing the daylight and coming home from prison, which is to take this plea. And then on top of that, it wasn't even a negotiation back and forth. This man basically made me take the first plea that was available to him, which was a 30-year lid. So I got 30 years for second-degree murder, and I got 10 years for the ACA.
Now, are they running consecutive or concurrent?
They were trying to run them consecutive, but they are running concurrent. So actually, I have 30 years.
Right. And I know all about that as well. Here's the thing. Sometimes, and I'm just speaking to the audience, you will be, and what they say, oh, it's from the movies, wrong place, wrong time. No, it happens. And here's another thing. People are such in a push for this criminal justice, get so hard that they want somebody to lock up for these crimes. And sometimes they don't even care who that somebody is. That is what has happened to Rashod. Now, Rashod, we got the postcard taken care of somewhat. Now tell us about the confession that someone else wrote.
Okay. In 2023, my attorney, like I said, received this letter. At the top of the letter, it says statement of confession. And then it goes on for 4 pages, once again, to tell you exactly about the crime in my case. And some of this stuff is not even in my discovery. You know what I'm saying? So I know it wasn't even in the news because some of it's not even in my discovery. So I don't understand how a person could know everything that this person wrote in his letter and not be the person who did it or was there at the time. So, like I said, this man has been convicted in the city with a life sentence right now as we speak for the same exact type of crime, minus the body.
Okay.
The murder, excuse me.
Let me ask you this. Did he sign the confession?
The confession is signed. It's signed.
It's signed by somebody who is already doing time for similar crimes, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And they wrote that, and you know what? He has nothing to lose at this point, just for the audience. He's already in prison for a life sentence, the real perpetrator of this crime. And he writes details that have not been revealed in a 4-page letter. Is this the same attorney that worked with the prosecutor to get you this plea who received the letter?
No, ma'am. This was once again another public defender that was appointed to me to do my post-conviction relief.
Okay.
Again, I haven't heard from this lady in 4 to 6 months as we speak right now. And
Wow.
I go to her office, I write her, I email her, I call, there's no answer, there's no reply to the emails, there's no reply to the letters, nothing whatsoever.
Well, let me and here's another thing for the audience, because, a lot of people have never been incarcerated. So I just want you to put yourself in a position where you know that either you've received too much time for what has happened, you receive time that you don't deserve, that you are, completely innocent, and the years go by and the time continues to tick and no one hears your voice. So you've been appointed another public defender. And what this man has just basically told us is they don't answer the phone. We can email from our tablets. No one is listening to these emails, or, at least has a courtesy to respond that it's been received. So when because as I'm incarcerated, if I'm going to put myself in Rashod's shoes, because I've been there, I can't go to your office and ask you to look at this information, this evidence. I'm going to ask you this. So did anyone ever submit the letter?
Correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
Let me just backtrack. Was there DNA ever collected in your case?
There was DNA on a roll of duct tape, and one of the guys that was a friend of mine, he came to my house and he asked me to borrow a duffel bag, and I had an open bed truck. And like I said, I lend something to people, you know what I'm saying? But,
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that's supposed to be my friend. So, here you go, you know what I'm saying? And I guess, like I said, it was left at the scene or something. That was it.
Okay. Was there DNA, any other DNA found at the scene? Was there any other DNA found at the scene?
There was other DNA at the scene that I guess they couldn't identify, and some of the DNA that they did identify, I want to say, was for a person that was deceased at the time, or
wow.
Yeah, but they didn't use
So if a person's deceased at the time and this DNA is being connected to a crime, it just doesn't sound like everything is meshing for me. And with the confession that has been sent to the attorney, what I want to ask is, why is this man still not in court? Because, here's the thing that we say when we're incarcerated is, well, are you back in court? Can you get back in court? Can you get back in court? Because it's not even about, can I get out? The first step is court. So as far as your process for getting back in court, what does that look like, Rashod?
Okay, now that's where the prosecutor's office, they have a unit, like I said, called the Conviction Integrity Unit. Okay, now you submit a form. If you discover evidence, then you submit a form, and they're supposed to review your case. Like I said, this attorney told me that she submitted the paperwork when she got the letter, and here it is going on a year, and I have not heard one single piece from the prosecuting attorney's office. I don't even know if this lady submitted the stuff or not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I have no way of knowing, because every time I write somebody, whether it's the prosecutor or my attorney, there's no answer whatsoever.
Now, let me tell you this. Do you feel like you would have more of a chance if someone would pay for you an attorney?
Of course.
Absolutely.
I know for a fact. I know for a fact I would, because I mean, every single day I hear people saying, "Oh man, I'm going home because let's just say Ken Gibson or Dan Ross." You know what I'm saying? These are some of the attorneys that they
Wow.
facing, and these are some of the attorneys I have been trying to hire to get me home. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
and
let me.
Like I said.
Go ahead. Okay, so
I don't.
Wait, is your case out of Kansas City?
My case is out of Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, because that's where my case is, and I'm excited to hear that Dan Ross is still out here moving and grooving, because it was Pat Peters and Dan Ross. And if you had a case, and I see you went in 2010, you wanted Pat Peters or you wanted Dan Ross. Now, Pat Peters was supposed to be my attorney, and this will come out in the book too, and I didn't find out, because let me tell you how much your attorneys are against you. Okay, so my sister was trying to get me Pat Peters, had put money in an account, he wouldn't take the money. Before I go into the room to get sentenced, I say, "Sir, why?" And it's public record. His name was Kent Hall. He came out of nowhere. I said, "Why am I not getting self-defense? Why are they not taking into account that he had a gun too?" And I just found a gun on the scene. Where's Pat Peters? Why am I not getting a continuance? He hands me new discovery. Now, let me tell you, I'm going in about 45, not even 40, maybe 20 minutes to get sentenced, and says, "Well, some friends of your victims have Pat Peters on retainer, and they've written statements against you. These statements were written so long ago, and this is the time that my attorney, Kent Hall, decides that he's going to give me this information right before it's time for me to go plead on an Alford plea, open plea, that, basically you can give me whatever amount of time." So they're never on your side. Excuse me?
Yeah.
They're never on your side. Never. They're never on your side because you don't have money. So Dan Ross is still out there moving and grooving. That's how I know this man was in Kansas City, because his name was so popular that if you knew you could get the money for Dan Ross, or if you could get the money for Pat Peters, then you were going to go home, or you were going to get the best sentence possible.
You have 1 minute left.
So clearly nothing has changed. Rashod, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to talk to the audience only because I want you to have the time to call back. Okay?
Okay, I will call you right.
All right. I know how this goes. All right. So I'm going to hang up on Rashod so he can call us back, because he's only got he gets 20 minutes for a phone call, and then they have to call back. So while we're waiting on Rashod to call back, let me tell you about injustice. Okay. And a little bit about my case is I, had been in a bad situation with some bad people. Okay. I got, I had a public defender. I called one time. Let me see here. I had a good public defender.
Deposit money today. Go to securustech.net. That's SECURUS.
This is what your family hears while they wait on you. This is what your friends have to go through.
Collect call from
Rashod.
They have to listen to them sell us things or sell them things.
Jefferson City Correctional Center. This call is from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded. To accept
And as you see, there's no way to really get through the system quickly. The
conversation now.
Okay, just one moment. Securus is going to sell you all sorts of things because it's big money. It's big profit. So I have this public defender. He's doing a good job for me. I call him one day. He says, "Well, this man, Kent Hall, took your case pro bono. He took it pro bono. Nobody knows where this man came from. Clearly, he was not my attorney." Okay, so the big money attorneys, Dan Ross, Pat Peters, who's deceased now, they are making a name for themselves that if you have the money, we can help you. We can help you. But if you don't have the money, you're at the mercy of whatever happens to you. And by the time I knew that I didn't have a good attorney on my side, like I said, I was 20 minutes before going to accept a plea deal. So these are the things that happen to us. And Rashod, I was up against life in prison, but I knew I wasn't going to lose my life. You were up against the death penalty. So just to put that in perspective, sir.
Right. Once again, I was up against the death penalty, and my mom will tell you, I came back, you know what I'm saying, to be real, I was crying, you know what I'm saying, and I told her, I said, these people are trying to kill me, and my mother said, son, don't let them people kill you, you know what I'm saying, she said, don't let them people kill us, and when she said that, I didn't have no choice but to take the plea, because I never knew. I said, at least this time I'll be going home someday. You see what I'm saying? I wouldn't be sitting on death row not knowing what to do. I had to teach myself how to fight for myself, because nobody else would.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm doing.
And let me tell you another thing. Had your lawyer ever, now this is just me asking this question. Let me tell you, when my lawyer never had any contact with my family for real, never really helped me, when he knew that that plea was coming down, before I could even call my family to run it past them, he had already called and they were in tears. I had a son. He was 10 years old at this time. No, he had just turned 12. And he told my family that I would never be there for my son if I didn't take this plea. This is my attorney. So
that's exactly how my case happened. My dad was sitting in the county jail with me. He was written back so he could testify as far as the character witness for me, as far as about my childhood and the things I went through, as far as him not being there for me. And my whole family, to tell you, I'm going to keep it real with you. I stole cars out there. I stole my mama's car. I got a case my mom had a case against me for stealing her car. That's what I do. Anything dealing with four wheels, I want.
Oh my gosh, we lost you. We lost you. I don't have a signal from you. Okay, go ahead.
It was this old, I tell the story a lot. It was this old Jamaican lady that used to sit down off 12th Street and Truman Road and stuff. And she used to just sleep. She would never take money from me, you know what I'm saying? But I would always go to the BP on Truman Road at the sale or off of Woodland and Independence Avenue, and I'd buy her food. And I used to sneak and hide money in her bags and stuff because she would never accept it from me. And that's why I did it. You know what I'm saying? And some of the things that I do, and to be convicted, to be even accused of the heinous crime that I am, I was raised by my mother, grandmother, and my auntie. And they raised a gentleman, you know what I'm saying? I will never in my life like raise my hand to a woman, you know what I'm saying? Point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? So for them to charge me with this, I still, to this day, I still have nightmares about this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't even there. Just because of the simple fact they put me in the category with these guys. You know what I'm saying? And would do something like this. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, there's a big difference.
It hurts me to my soul.
Yeah, there's a big difference between stealing cars and killing somebody, okay? And you are willing to admit that, hey, that was your MO prior to coming to jail. But let me tell you this. They knew that, as they do.
And may be monitored and recorded.
They know the people that, hey, they're going to be more susceptible for me to go for the okie doke, or, you know, basically, as a prior person who has been in trouble, it's easier for your own attorney to tell you, well, they're never going to believe you at trial. They're going to see that these are the things that you've done. Now, I didn't have a lot of things that I'd done stacked against me, but I was on drugs. I was a young Black woman. My victim was not Black. And, you know, his family had money and my family didn't. My sister had taken out a loan to try and help me. So at this time, I know what you're talking about, because they call us, you know, low key to themselves, throwaway people. Like, oh, he's been in trouble with the law before.
That's exactly what they did to me. That's exactly what they did to me, Sharita, because I'm quite sure you heard of Alvin Brooks before, right?
Oh, of course. Ad hoc group against crime.
Ad hoc against crime.
And his grandson stayed in trouble.
Right. He got on the radio at 9:55 one day, and showed the whole Kansas City tri-state area about my case. He said, I know you didn't do it, but I know you know who did it. And if you don't tell us who did it, then you're just a kid.
Wow.
And that's what they did. They made me wear this because of who she was and what she was. And what a lot of people don't understand is I'm so passionate about it that, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to start a non-profit organization in her memory to keep the things that she wanted to do in her life. Where her little program is. I want to keep that going just because that's the type of person I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Rashod, let me tell you this. What is sad, and I'm going to talk to the audience directly now, is we have awesome hearts. We are good people, just like almost everybody out here. Because there's people out here without good hearts. There's people, you know what I'm saying? The same population that you come across out here for the most part are us on the inside. Don't give up on us. This man is telling you, though, and I've never gave any qualms about it. I am guilty of my crime. I am guilty of my crime, and there is a ripple effect. So there's victims all throughout, you know, and my family were victims as well, but they didn't lose me. Luckily, I'm home. However, just because I was on drugs, just because I'm Black, just because I'm young, and just because he was an older, you know, gentleman that was not Black and had family, doesn't mean that I should have went for something that anybody with plain eyes could have saw was I was in a bad way and I made a bad decision. However, Rashod, you didn't even commit this crime. So the things that were stacked against you are you're a young Black male, and this person is affluent. Is that true? I mean, would you say that they had it going, you know, that they had a position in the community? Because Alvin Brooks definitely has a position in the community.
This lady was friends with the city council. This lady was friends and went to church with Alvin Brooks, preachers in the community. You know what I'm saying? This is what this was. So how can we call ourselves people of justice if we can't even bring to justice a person who did this to our friend? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, because listen, as long as somebody's doing time, which is sad, as long as somebody's doing time, somebody feels good about it, like even if it wasn't the person.
They don't care. The prosecutors do not care if you're innocent or guilty. Only thing they care about is closing the case.
That's right.
And it's crazy because I want to read something to you. Is that okay?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. This right here came from the conviction integrity unit. And this is the first page that they sent me. And it says, sorry about that. Go ahead. Keep talking, ma'am. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. This is, let me tell you, this is my, like I said, immense pleasure because I've been there. I've been there. And, you know, it's sad that I had a 17-year sentence. I had to serve at 85%. And people were like, oh, that's good time. That's good time, no matter what the circumstances are.
And may be monitored and recorded.
Just be happy you have an out date. So, you know. Okay, go ahead.
I found it. Okay, this came exactly from the conviction integrity unit. It said the prosecutor's role in the criminal justice system is to verbally and ethically persecute those who violate the law and to protect the innocent. That right there is crazy. And to end, prosecutors have a duty to seek the truth before, during, and after conviction. Once again, they have not once contacted me and tried to say, hey, is this true? Hey, we received this. You know what I'm saying? What's going on with this? You know what I'm saying? And then I got one more thing as far as it say when confronted with wrongful convictions, many prosecutors are forcing the extraordinary on remand to make a hard choice. Reach another trial or enter an alpha plea and go home today.
Yeah.
Faced with the uncertainty of a retrial and a desire to be free after years of wrongful imprisonment, many defendants enter the plea. So here it is, not only that they know that you're innocent, but here it is, they say, okay, yeah, you might be innocent, you might not be. but here it is. We're going to see if you want to take this plea, or we're going to see if you want to go back to trial and try it again. And if you lose, you might get whatever the sentence
Oh yeah,
was.
that's a thing, that you're going to get more time if you go back to trial. That is a thing. They always say if you go to trial, and they will make examples out of certain people because they want you to be deathly afraid of the outcome of the trial, because you're always going to be facing way more than this plea. However, like you would have been facing the death penalty. However, that plea is not, they're not asking you. They're basically telling you that if you don't take and sign away your life, you won't have one. You won't have any other option. Rashod, tell us what you need from our audience. You need someone to look into your case. You need someone to call the governor. But there are people who are listening who can do more. Rashod, tell us how to help you. And I'm going to tell you this. You are not a number, but give them your number.
My number is 1187836. Like I said, my name is Rashod L. James. Like I said, I've been trying to find an attorney that's willing to fight for me. You know, and at the proper should I say,
Okay, and I'm gonna touch. Go ahead. Okay, and I'm going to touch on public defenders, because my public defender that I actually had hope with. I actually felt better, you know, when I had him than when I had the pro bono attorney that popped up out of nowhere. So there are good public defenders. I did time with people who were who had done, we're not going to level any crime out, but got better time with a public defender. So some of the public defenders are good. Some of them are not. So if there's a public defender out of Kansas City hearing about Rashod right now, and you know whoever sold him up the river, you jump in there. Somebody needs to be held accountable. We need attorneys that are going to look at people's cases and help those who don't have the money. Go ahead.
Prime example. Tiffany Ludy Huntington. She's a prosecutor. She's out of the Liberty office. You know what I'm saying? If anybody know her, I've been trying to get in contact with her. She was on my case at one point in time, and they took her off for whatever reason. This lady is a genuine person. I've been knowing her since 2008, and I have been trying to get in contact with her because I know for a fact that this lady cares. This lady is going to fight. You know what I'm saying? So,
that's right.
Like I said,
so here's the thing. You don't have to be a paid attorney. If you can hear what is going on, and you already know if you're that close to the problem, we need people who are, you know, criminal defense attorneys to help us. Help us. Rashod, you want to say anything before we end this?
No, ma'am. I just want to say thank you very much for taking time out of your day.
Oh, absolutely. And is it Shayanya? Shayanya?
Yeah, I know.
She put on there, free my baby. So we got some people who are watching as we do this. Huh?
Yeah, shout out to my fiance, Shayana.
This call is from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
You know, I do these interviews with all my homies. That's right. All my friends, and they always thank me. Don't thank me. Thank God. Because you know what? I could have went up against more time. Anything. Yeah.
I couldn't do it without my mother either.
Amen.
Jones, Yolanda Lasky. I couldn't do it without her. You know what I'm saying? That's my heart. That's my soul. And like I said, if it wasn't for her, this podcast wouldn't even be possible right now.
Yeah.
So I want to thank my mother.
All right. Well, Sheena Eastburn also is on your side, because she sent me some information.
Yes,
and I said, hey, have them call me and we'll set something up, because guess what? This is important work. And I can't talk about, you know, how God moves in anybody's life, but I feel like he enabled me to be able to do this and go on a missionary trip. I would have never known the reality of prison if I wouldn't have went myself. All right.